Hello and welcome to the Java tutorial. In this tutorial I want to show you the object-oriented approach within Java, and this with an example of a window. So in the first step we create a new class. We close the old one here, go to new and make a new class that we simply call objects. Finish. And in the first step we make our main method. So what are so-called objects? It's an object. An object is the abstraction of a real thing or a concept. The structural design is written in the class, also the properties. What's also important is that objects can communicate with each other. And today I want to show you how to create a window in Java using this object. And what's also important, you can also always use such an object. So we will create this now, this object, and we will use it later. To create an object is like declare a variable. You have a type here, for example, just a small example, int for integer, and number equals 8. So we have now the integer variable number that equals 8. And equally like this, we create now the object. So here the type is integer, and okay, so now what is the type for our object? And this type is given by Java, and it's the JFrame type for making a window. It's given by Java. So Java gives us the opportunity to create a window. So I just type JF and use the auto function with a control space. And you see here it's JFrame, and you see javax.swing. So in the package Java Xstring we have JFrame, and if I double click on it, you see here at first it's auto completed JFrame, and if you look on the top of the class, you see here import javax_swing.jframe. It's the swing package, so it automatically imports it, and we need it to use it. So now we need a name like integer. For an integer type, we need also a variable name, and we just call it here Fenster. This is German for window. And now comes our keyword. This equals keyword new, and then comes JFrame and 2 brackets. So JFrame is our constructor, and this makes the class Fenster. To use it now, we have to use methods of the class JFrame. And now let's type. We use it with a dot operator. I type now Fenster, the name of the class of the object. Use dot, and then with autocomplete function, I just click here and use. We need. Just let me search. And it's set visible and a Boolean value. So our window should be visible, and of course I set it to true because we want to see a window. So just let me click on run, and you will see there in the top corner a small window occurs, so our program works properly. So we can change the size like a normal window in Windows. So let's make some adjustments to this window. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And now we have to use some method where we can change the size. So before we set it visible, we have to make it a little bit bigger and use the method set size. So we type Fenster, the name of the object, dot, the operator, and now the method set size. And so we can type here in width and size in pixels. And you see here it's also integer values, so you can't type 131.45 or whatever, or 2. And I type here 400 pixels for the width, and for the height 300 pixels. Don't forget the semicolon. And now you see the window that is visible now is not as small as the last time, it's bigger, but you can also change it when you want. So what could we do next? We could create a title for this window. So we use the method set title. And you see here's string title, so we cannot type, it's not the number or whatever, it's a string. And now we use exclamation marks, quotation marks, and I call it here my window, my Fenster in German. So you see here the basics. We create an object, and then after this comes some method that defines the object. And you can create as many objects as you want. And these objects can also communicate, and so you can construct your program of all of these objects. So I will show you another object, but at first, or some other adjustment, but let me just make some comments. So now we want to have some text inside the window. And so we use now another class, another object, and it's called JLabel. And like the last time, we use autocomplete, and you see we have here a new package that is now called JLabel. And now we can use methods of this class. And we need also a name. I call it here label. This equals our keyword new, and then JLabel. So like the last time, we have now a new object that is called label. And now we use some methods of this class. And after the dot operator, we have several methods that we can use. And now we just want to set some text inside this window. And you see here, in this brackets, the program here wants to have that we write down a string. So I write here my label as a text in the window, semicolon. And now we have to connect somehow our label with the window. And we start with the window. See, I use autocomplete dot, and now we have a method called add, and here we can select label. And if we let this run now, we see here our text of the object label. And like this, we can create with objects our window. We can pass, for example, some text. We could also create some menus or everything else. but then we should use some other classes. And I just want to show you how to use the object-oriented approach and how to make the basic construction of this. So we create here the window in this object, and then after this we create here the text. And here in the last step we connect both. What you should remember is that objects also have a type. They have a name, like Fenster or label here, and you have to use the keyword to create a new object that is called new. And after this, we have to declare the constructor. And after you created once an object, after this we can use several methods to adjust an object and define it. And it's very, very important if you want to learn how to use objects that you just use. You see there are several methods, and that you just play around a little bit and make some experiments. Just try it. And okay, that's enough for today. In the next tutorial I want to show you how to make some more adjustments, work a little bit more with objects. So see you in the next tutorial. Thank you.